The Bluegrass region of central Kentucky is the mecca of thoroughbred racing and breeding in the world. Nowhere else does the concentration of prestigious farms, exquisite stallions, and quality racing exist quite like it does in Lexington. As a resident of central Kentucky, it is important to be informed about what makes the town unique and what makes Lexington a city of international prominence. With a total value of $23.4 billion, according to the University of Kentucky's Equine Survey, it is hard to argue that the horse industry is irrelevant in the state of Kentucky. Aside from the clear economic factors, the tradition is hard to stray away from as well. Lexington has long been heralded as the horse capital of the world, holding events like the Rolex and Keeneland's annual spring and fall meets. Keeneland has been running for over 76 years and has become a true staple for the town of Lexington, as both a social event and a place for the finest breeders in the world to showcase their animals. However, racing's numerous issues have kept the public away from the sport in recent years. Most notably, high-profile breakdowns, including Barbaro and 8 Bells, and cruelty charges have made fans turn away from the sport. Drugs often make the front page more than the racing news, and the uncertain future for athletes once their racing days are over is a big turnoff for many potential fans. However, racing is on its way towards reform and is making giant strides each year towards improving itself. Unfortunately, many of these reforms and positive news stories stick to industry, magazines, and websites. By becoming a more informed citizen, you can learn the positive things going on in the industry and why you should be involved and care about the sport of horse racing. Regarding breakdowns, there has been major movement in the sport in recent years to prevent these from happening. Nothing will turn a fan off like seeing a horse be euthanized on the track in front of them after trying their all during a race. One of the biggest movements towards the improvement of safety for horses has been the implementation of synthetic surfaces at racetracks across the country. Synthetic surfaces are a relatively new innovation that began in Europe and just recently made their way over to the United States in 2006. Synthetic surfaces are made of rubber, fiber, sand, and other materials, and supposedly have lower breakdown rates than dirt surfaces. According to David Nunemaker from the University of Pennsylvania, synthetic surfaces have a lower breakdown rate by as many as 0.5 fatalities per 1,000 starts. At the time when the tracks were installed, this was uncertain. But after years of data collection, it is now proven that synthetic surfaces do have lower fatal breakdown rates than dirt racetracks. Keeneland installed a synthetic surface called Polytrack in 2006. Since then, the track has become one of the safest in the country, according to the Blood Horse. Another reason why it's become so popular with the fans in Lexington. The National Thoroughbred Racing Association, which is an organization to promote the welfare and well-being of the sport of horse racing and its athletes, has formed a new safety alliance. This alliance is a bond between several of the biggest tracks in the country, implementing new safety procedures and regulations to help keep the athletes, both jockeys and horses, safer while they compete. Many organizations, such as People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, have attacked racing in recent years for cruelty charges. Breakdowns of Barbaro during the Preakness Stakes and 8 Bells immediately after the Kentucky Derby have spurred these initiatives in their attack on the sport. They claim that the whip is torturous to the animals. However, many of the public don't know about the whipping reforms that are currently going on within the sport. According to Marcus Hirsch from the Daily Racing Forum, in 2009, new whips called poppers were introduced in racetracks across the country. These really make a loud noise rather than harming the horse in any way. Some jockeys argue that it's not strong enough and the animal can't even feel what's coming down in their flanks. However, because of these sticks' length, it may look violent to the fans, who don't know that it's actually just a piece of foam on the end and is meant to make a loud noise, and cannot possibly make a welt on the animal because of the way it is designed. Drugs are always a hot-button topic in racing and continue to be under recent years. After the breakdown of 8 Bells in 2008, steroids were made illegal in the sport of horse racing. However, steroids becoming illegal was not as well publicized as their use in racing, especially after the breakdown of 8 Bells. There's also been a massive movement to ban Lasix and other race day medications in recent years. Lasix is an anti-bleeder medication, which means that it stops the animal from bleeding in its lungs while performing exercise. This pulmonary hemorrhage is normal for equines and happens in horses across all disciplines, but it's particularly prevalent in racing because of the high outbursts of energy and speed that the animals are asked to put out. According to the Blood Horse, this drug, while it can be considered a performance enhancer, is commonly used throughout the sport, but there has been a lot of movement to ban it recently due to its diuretic effects and the drug potentially making the bones weaker in the animal and making it take longer for the horse to bounce back from big race efforts. This movement is extremely recent and began just in 2010, but has been gaining motion quickly. The Breeders' Cup banned Lasix in all 2-year-old races starting in 2012 and continues to do so, while other tracks across the country have banned Lasix in 2-year-old races as well. Another huge issue for horse racing is the fact that many ex-racehorses are unable to find homes after their days at the track are over. This has been another issue that has risen to prominence in the last several years for the sport. Numerous adoption agencies exist to take retired animals off of the racetrack and transitions them to new homes. The thoroughbred can be used for many things other than racing and makes a wonderful sport horse if retrained properly. Also away from the limelight, but a tremendous step in the right direction, was the Jockey Club beginning a thoroughbred initiative designed to promote the adoption of ex-racehorses after their days at the track are over. This initiative creates new shows, classes, and additional prize money for owners of ex-racehorses. It's obvious that racing has issues, but the sport is undergoing the winds of change and is working towards improving itself. This not only creates a safer environment for the animals and humans involved, but allows far better public relations and allows fans to feel more comfortable coming into the sport. You too can do your part to help the racing industry. Even by just watching races, betting on a few, or taking friends out to the track, you increase the prominence of racing as an industry in the state of Kentucky. If you're a horse owner, consider adopting an ex-racehorse, or if you're an advocate for the sport, consider telling your friends about all the recent reforms going on. The health of this industry directly influenced Lexington and all of central Kentucky. With these new initiatives and reforms, the sport can continue to improve and increase its position of national prominence in hopes of becoming more prominent and a healthier industry for the state and the nation as a whole.